So this is going to be an oddball little off-the-cuff video about how you basically get what you pay for with capture cards. Now, what you're seeing here is the output from my Nintendo Switch with an HD60S from Elgato. Now, before this, I actually had a cheap Chinese capture card. It was from AliExpress. It was about 40 bucks, and I bought it because the Elgato stuff was really expensive. Now, I did used to have an HD60S, and I stupidly sold it off because I didn't think I was ever going to need it nor want it again. And I wasn't really, getting into console gaming at the time because I got rid of it back in 2018, and I started dipping back into console gaming in 2019. So, stupid move. I do regret it very, very much, but, I bit the bullet and undid my mistake. So, the Chinese capture card unfortunately had a bit of issues. It says it was USB 3.0, but the problem is the pins were not actually connected to anything. So it's a USB 2.0 device lying and saying it's a 3.0 device, which is quite fun. And if you actually pull it up in Windows, it'll pretty much, the jig is up. It'll say USB 2.0 device. So that was fun, and because it couldn't handle that much throughput, the video quality kind of suffered a bit. 60 FPS would have some frame drops here and there, and the video would look kind of awful, and the HDMI audio was also very glitchy. It would drop sometimes. It was just a big old mess, and I actually had to run analog out into my PC to record it without the HDMI audio glitching. So, yeah. And unfortunately, as of a couple days ago, the thing died. I actually reorganized my room, and I guess in the move, the thing died. So that's why I just went online and bought an HD60S and bit the bullet. So the one test I have of the graphics card working versus not working, and there I went with graphics card. I mean to say capture card. I'm sorry. The one test I have is Stardew Valley. Now, why I say this, it's not really a demanding game, but there is a particular scene in the game that will trip out those cheap Chinese capture cards. I do not know why, but it does. And we're just going to launch in right now. Currently already in the game. I mean, I just had it suspended. So, I don't know if it's because of the USB 2.0 limitations. I don't know if it's because of something or other, but it's this screen in particular. You can see it's kind of weird in that it's letterboxed a little bit. And this screen would trip out every capture card I've tried that's, a cheap one. The lower third of the screen would just go all glitchy. It would be mostly unreadable. So, if God forbid you had any conversation on this screen, I think if you went up north towards where Pam usually sits once you unlock the desert and such, this is fine. This would cause it to not glitch out. But when this lower fence line is here, the whole thing just goes right to hell and back, and it's really bad. The other game I noticed this on is with Tetris Effect, though nowhere near as consistently. Not sure why, but again, it was just the most consistent on this screen right here. Really weird. And as you can see, the HD60S is handling this no problem. Perfect 60 FPS 1080p. No problem whatsoever. Very, very nice. And again, it's really a testament you get what you pay for, unfortunately. I do wish there were cheaper options for capture cards because this set me back a nice $170. But I guess capture cards are one of those things where it's like you really do have to pay the big bucks. And from what I read, the cheap capture cards are actually not that bad in certain contexts. Like if you're using them as kind of like a bit of a ghetto upscaler for retro consoles converted to HDMI, I heard it's not all that bad. And actually that's why I ended up buying it, was I was recommended it based on what a console modder had said about its upscaling capabilities, because it does output everything the 1080p, no matter what you feed it. And it might have been pretty good at that, but I wanted to use it to actually stream console games like, this. And that kind of presented the problem of, well, it's not exactly good at that. It has problems, and because it's limited by USB 2.0 speeds, at least that's what my theory is, it tends to have some problems. So, yeah, again, this is one of those cases where it's like, it really sucks that there really isn't a good but decently cheap option out there. But it's one of those things where you really want to spend heavy the first time around and not get something that's going to just make you pull your hair out and in frustration like those cheap capture cards from AliExpress will do. And yeah, I mean, you don't have to get an Elgato either. You can get like Avermedia is a good one. EVGA, I believe, is doing their own cards now too. The point of the matter is just don't get something cheap and expect the good results. If it gives you something good, then, hey, that's actually quite surprising, but I would never expect it. So, learn from my mistake. Just do it right the first time when it comes to capture cards, because don't be sad like me and have to blow like over $100 twice on this because you're dumb. So yeah, that's it for this little video. Hopefully you enjoyed. Kind of off the cuff, no edits, no nothing. But yeah, till next time, I'll see you guys later.